After being reborn, I cut off all possibilities with FLhe. He was to be stationed in the southwest, so I signed up to develop the Great Northern Wilderness. He wanted to bring FLhe over to live with him, so I moved out early to make room for them. He wanted to postpone the wedding, and I immediately nodded in agreement, just because in his previous life, he died with FLhe's name on his lips. I carried him for 10 months and gave birth to him at the cost of half my life. Yet I'm blamed for taking the place of his mother, FLhe. Instructor, I would like to apply to go to northeast China to develop the Great Northern Wilderness. The instructor looked at me in surprise. FLhe, you need to think carefully. Beidehuang is so far away. If you go there, you won't be able to return for at least 3 to 5 years. Will your family agree to this? Hearing the instructor's words, I replied calmly, my parents passed away long ago. And my only grandmother also died not long ago. Now, I have no family left. I can decide on going to the Great Northern Wilderness all by myself. Actually, I also have a fiancé. He is the head of our group, FLhe. But I know, soon he won't be anymore. Seeing my determination, the instructor sighed and wrote approved on my application form. Alright, I'll submit the application for you. However, your group is leaving urgently this time. You'll set off in a week. So go back and pack your things as soon as possible. Okay, thank you, instructor. After thanking the counselor, I headed home. A week to say goodbye to everything here is enough. When I got home, I didn't expect anyone to be in the house. Through the dim light in the living room, I saw FLhe sitting on the sofa, looking 30 years younger. Just as I remember, the young FLhe, with his sharp eyebrows and starry eyes, exudes a dashing and heroic aura. He possesses a charm that makes hearts race at first sight, but such a person does not belong to me. At such a young age, he is already the youngest regiment commander in our southwest military region, and I am just an ordinary country girl. If it weren't for the arranged marriage between my grandfather and his grandmother, I would never have the right to stand by his side. Seeing me, FLhe furrowed his handsome brows, picked up what was in his hand, and stood up from the sofa. FLhe. This is the marriage report we filed last time. I went to the political commissar today and got it back. I think we're still young, and there's no need to rush into marriage. What do you think? This marriage report was submitted by FLhe's grandmother, who pressured him into turning it in. I never expected that he would eventually get it back. That's fine. It saves me from having to make another trip myself. Seeing that I hadn't spoken, FLhe opened his mouth as if to say something. But then he heard me say, I think you're right, we're still young. There's no need to rush into marriage. Not expecting me to agree so readily, FLhe stared at me in surprise. He then added, you're right, we're still young. There's no need to rush. Besides, the military district has been quite busy lately. I'll submit the marriage application once things settle down. I smiled faintly. But we have no future, FLhe. I'm going to help develop the Great Northern Wilderness. What did you say? FLhe didn't hear clearly and was about to ask for clarification. Suddenly, the door of the house was knocked on violently. The one knocking at the door was FLhe's guard. Regiment Commander Liu, a lady named Ruby Liu has sent you an urgent message, saying she has something important and needs your help. Hearing this name, FLhe's eyes darkened. He no longer bothered to question me further. He only had time to tell me to eat by myself before he left without looking back. I watched his retreating figure and closed the door tightly. I knew he wouldn't be coming back tonight. Whenever Ruby Liu calls for him, he forgets about me and our home, and in the day after day of neglect, I slowly turned myself into a madman. How pathetic. I found the day I left for the Great Northern Wilderness on the calendar posted by the door, circled it with a pen. I look forward to this day with anticipation, imagining my future. 7 more days. Soon, I will be free. Soon, I will have no ties to anything here. In his previous life, FLhe kept his promise as he had said. After finishing his military duties, he submitted a marriage application and married me. However, for many years after our marriage, he remained very cold toward me, except for that one accident, which resulted in our son. He never entered my room his entire life. I always thought he was just cold by nature and had a cleanliness obsession. That's why he didn't want to touch me. But it wasn't until he was sick and near death, hearing him call out Ruby over and over, that I realized it had nothing to do with his personality. It's just that the person he likes isn't me at all. Only then did I find out that shortly after getting married, FLhe was transferred to the Northwest for work. During the time we were separated by distance, at home, I managed the household chores for him, took care of his bedridden mother, and raised our sickly son to grow up healthy. I am trapped in a square house, unable to catch my breath, yet Ruby Liu, the star of the cultural troupe, has been closely following him with her daughter. Outwardly, she enjoys boundless glory. I am extremely sad, but the son I gave birth to with half my life not only didn't comfort me, instead, he also accused me with hatred, like an enemy, saying, "Mom, if it weren't for you holding Dad back all these years, he wouldn't have missed out on so much time with Ruby's mom, divorced Dad. He's suffered too much in this life, and I don't want him to be buried with you even after death. 100 years from now, I want my father and Mom Ruby to be buried together." Only then did I realize that Ruby Liu had not only captured my husband's heart, even my son loves her more as his mother. My heart was shattered, and I gritted my teeth, unwilling to get a divorce. I can't understand why. Clearly I haven't done anything wrong. Why is it that in the end, I'm the one who has to pay the price? But my son, ignoring my cries and grievances, tightly grabbed my hand and pressed my fingerprint onto the divorce application. I was so angry that my heart ached severely. The son sneered, "Mom, you've never been good at anything in your life, but you're a first-rate actress. No wonder Ruby's mom said you're cunning." After saying that, he took the divorce papers and mercilessly slammed the door shut as he left, leaving me alone, suffering a heart attack and dying in the empty house. In my past life, I never wronged anyone. I lived up to the name of FLhe's wife, managing the household for him. I allowed him to strive in the military district without any worries. I fulfilled my duty as a daughter-in-law, taking care of my bedridden and difficult mother-in-law for a lifetime. She gave her all to be a good mother, raising a son who was often sick as a child and whom doctors said would be hard to keep alive, all on her own. Yet in the end, she was let down by everyone, so she gets to live her life again. I want nothing to do with any of them. Waking up in the morning, the quilt in FLhe's room was still neatly folded. He really didn't come back. Calculating the time, it was just when Ruby Liu had recently become a widow and had just arrived in the Southwest. The reason for sending him, her former lover, an urgent telegram was to ask for his help in settling her down. It must be said, FLhe truly has deep affection and loyalty for Ruby Liu. No matter how big or small the matter, as long as Ruby Liu asks, he will do everything in his power to help. If I remember correctly, this time he's going out. FLhe won't be back for several days. That's fine too. Just as well, I don't have to say goodbye to him in person. I marked another cross on the calendar. 6 more days left, then I started packing up my things. This apartment belongs to FLhe, with 1 bedroom and 2 living rooms. Knowing that I work here, FLhe's grandmother arranged for us to live together. She said it was to build a relationship. Some feelings just can't be cultivated. No matter how hard you try. Before marriage, I pursued FLhe for 3 years, but I never moved him. After marriage, I spent 30 years, and still, I didn't move him in the slightest. It's okay, in this lifetime. I won't waste my efforts on this futile endeavor anymore. While packing my things, I saw the clothes and shoes I made for FLhe over the years. Each of these was made by hand, stitch by stitch. It's a shame there was no chance to give them to him. Now, there's no need to send them anymore. I gathered them all together. Then I took it to the pawn shop outside and exchanged it for 40 yuan. It wasn't much, but it was enough for me to spend on the way to the great northern wilderness. When I got home, I didn't expect FLhe to be there too. He was in the bedroom, looking for something. I don't know what. Seeing me, he said awkwardly, "FLhe, do you have an extra set of bedding in your room? A high school classmate of mine had some family issues and just moved here recently. She doesn't have anything complete. Take out your extra set of bedding and lend it to her." Hearing FLhe's words, I couldn't help but feel a pang of sadness in my heart. I do have an extra set of bedding in my room. The quilt cover on it was something I spent many nights secretly working on under the lamp, stitching it together, 1 needle and 1 thread at a time. It was prepared for the day FLhe and I got married. That bedding held all my hopes for a beautiful future. But now, the hope is gone. There won't be a wedding anymore. I was planning to take it to the pawn shop tomorrow and pawn it all together. Since he asked me for it because of Ruby Liu, then I'll just give it to him. Consider it a thank you for all the care he's given me over the years. I took the bedding out from the top shelf of the cabinet, seeing the embroidered mandarin ducks playing in the water above. Rexlu's hand, as he took the bedding, flinched as if scalded. Did you make this yourself? I said calmly. Well, just something I made for fun. Rexlu stared at me intently. The department store has been out of stock these past few days, so I'll give her the bedding first. When the department store restocks next week, I'll take you to buy new ones. You can have as many sets as you want. I looked at the countdown on the calendar and smiled faintly. All right, I agreed. Unfortunately, Rexlu, I can't wait until next week. In the evening, Rexlu actually came back very early. He even brought me my favorite sweet and sour fish. FLhe, I specifically got this for you from the state-run restaurant. They have a new chef there, and this dish is really well made. Come and try it quickly. This is something Rexlu rarely does in the 3 years I've lived here. If Rexlu had done this before, I would have been overjoyed and couldn't help but let my imagination run wild. But now, I know he's just thanking me for helping Ruby Liu. I sat down, started eating the sweet and sour fish. The room was silent. Rexlu sat beside me, silent for a long time. Then he said, FLhe, there's something I need to tell you. That high school classmate of mine whose family had an issue just moved here. She lost her husband and has a child with her, and the place she rented is leaking. Right now, they have nowhere to stay, so I was thinking of letting them stay here for a few days. Once their place is fixed, they can move back. What do you think? The sweet and sour fish in my mouth suddenly tasted as bland as wax. Everything he did was indeed for Ruby Liu. I swallowed the last trace of bitterness in my heart and said calmly, Fine, I have no objections. I'm leaving in a few days anyway. His house can be given to anyone to live in. Rexlu went to pick up Ruby Liu and her daughter early the next morning. I don't want to see them. After telling Rexlu, I set off for the countryside. That's the hometown of both Rexlu and me. My parents' and grandfather's graves are there. I don't know when I'll be back after leaving this time. I need to go and let them know. I picked my mom's favorite kapok flowers by the roadside and bought my dad his favorite liquor. I also bought Grandpa his favorite braised pork head. Mom, Dad, Grandpa, I'm going to the Northeast to join the national team developing the Great Northern Wilderness. I'm sorry. I can't keep the marriage promise and marry Rexlu. He loves someone else. But don't worry, even without Rexlu, I will still be happy. I swept their graves and spent a long time talking with them. I didn't leave until it was dark, reluctant to part. Leaving the cemetery, I went to the Liu family's house. I visited Rexlu's grandmother. In my past life, Rexlu's parents thought I wasn't good enough for their son. They gave me a hard time quite often, but his grandmother was really good to me. I'm leaving. At least I should say goodbye to her. Grandma Liu doesn't like Rexlu's mother, so they don't live together. I avoided Rexlu's parents' house and walked to Grandma Liu's yard, pushing the door open. I saw Grandma Liu, with her head full of white hair, picking vegetables in the yard. Spinach in autumn tastes the best. Grandma Liu made me a spinach meatball soup. I stir-fried another dish of potatoes with cured meat. Steamed cornbread served with cured meat and spinach meatball soup brings back the taste of home from my childhood. At night, I lay beside Grandma Liu. On the other side, she used a palm leaf fan to gently wave away the mosquitoes for me. FLhe, why did you come back alone? Did that brat Rex bully you? The concern from elders is the most touching. I held back the tears in my eyes and smiled. He didn't bully me. Rex treats me very well. You can't force matters of the heart. He has someone else in his heart. Grandma, we won't be together anymore. Someone else. Grandma Liu took a deep breath. That wretched boy actually dared to cheat. Just wait, I'll beat him to death. FLhe, don't be upset. Grandma will stand up for you. I will definitely make him marry you. I held her hand and comforted her. Grandma, he doesn't have feelings for me. Even if we were forced to marry, that wouldn't change. He hasn't cheated either. We're both unmarried, and it's all perfectly normal. Grandma, don't blame Brother Liu. We just don't have fate. Grandma Liu said excitedly, how can there be no fate? He wouldn't dare disobey my orders. FLhe, don't worry. I guarantee he will marry you. I will never let him bully you. I shook my head. Grandma, it's not necessary. I don't want someone who doesn't have me in their heart either. Grandma Liu held my hand and sighed all night in the darkness. I know, she really does care about me. She doesn't understand how I could ever bring myself to let go of FLhe. FLhe became a regiment commander at such a young age. His future is full of promise. As a lone orphan, this is my best destination, but I can't tell her. FLhe is not a good destination. In my previous life, I married him but suffered so much. Even my son prefers his Ruby mother. They are the real family. And me, a miserable life. A night passed, and Grandma Lu knew my mind was made up. The matter between me and FLhe was just let go. FLhe's parents were overjoyed for a long time after they found out. Even their attitude towards me wasn't so unpleasant anymore. Grandma FLhe looked at FLhe's overjoyed mother and shook her head. She's foolish too, thinking it's better for you not to marry Rex. She's a paralyzed person, without a kind-hearted child like you as a daughter-in-law, who will take her seriously in the future. The delicate oval face of Ruby Liu and her fair, delicate hands came to mind. Shook my head. That's their business, not my business. I stayed with Grandma Lu for 3 days. When I left, she saw me off to the village entrance. She told me that from then on, I would be like her own granddaughter and that I must come back to visit her often. As I got on the bus, I felt 2 still warm eggs in my bundle. I couldn't hold back my tears. Grandma, I went to the great northern wilderness. I will also write to you. After returning home, I immediately marked 3 big crosses on the calendar. 2 more days. I am about to leave for good. I opened the room with my luggage in hand. I saw that the room, which was supposed to be mine, was filled with a strange woman's belongings, and my things had been packed up. They were thrown in the corner like trash. The floral bedsheet and duvet cover that were originally on my bed were replaced with my set of mandarin ducks playing in water. And on the pair of mandarin ducks that I spent half a month embroidering, they were actually splattered with blue-black ink. The eye parts were also cut to pieces with scissors. I stared blankly at the pair of soiled and tattered mandarin ducks. Picking them up, it felt as if something inside me had completely died. Click. The door was opened from the outside. FLhe walked in with Ruby Liu, who was wearing a white dress, and her daughter Cece. Seeing me holding the duvet cover, Ruby Liu's daughter rushed out from behind them. She crashed into my waist like a little cannonball. Bad auntie, don't touch my toys. I was caught off guard and knocked to the ground by her. My stomach aching badly, yet her hands kept frantically hitting my face and body. Hiss. My eye was scratched by her hand. My head is throbbing with pain. I couldn't take it anymore and pushed her. It was just a light push, but she ended up sitting on the ground. She started crying her heart out. Ah, the bad auntie is hitting me. Help, Dad Lu, help, Mom, help. I stared blankly at my hand. I really didn't use much force just now. How could she cry like this? Ruby Liu held her daughter. Tears streaming down like tap water. Sister FLhe, I know you're upset that we took over your house, but if you're unwilling, just say so. I'll take Cece and leave right away. You don't have to take it out on Cece. Mom, Cece hurts. Ruby Liu cried even harder. Cece, Mom is useless. I can't even protect you. FLhe, sorry, we're leaving now. FLhe grabbed Ruby Liu's hand to stop her from leaving. He looked at me angrily. FLhe, apologize. I wiped the wound at the corner of my eye and looked at FLhe in confusion. He was staring at me with a death glare. Apologize to Cece and Wanrong. You just got back and you're hitting a child. What's the matter with you? It was my idea to let Ruby and Cece stay in your room. My room is too small. And it's inconvenient for Ruby to stay with the child. Since you weren't here, I let them stay there first. If you have any complaints, talk to me. What's the point of taking it out on the child? Ruby Liu gave me a mocking smile from behind FLhe. My heart turned ice cold. I didn't. FLhe's voice grew even colder. What do you mean you didn't? I clearly saw you push Cece. FLhe, you're an adult now. If you've done something wrong, you should admit it and apologize to Cece and Ruby. In an instant, I felt utterly powerless, but I didn't use any force at all. I don't know how she fell, and she hit me first. FLhe's frown deepened, stubborn and unyielding. What's the big deal if a little child hits you a couple of times? Could it really hurt you that much? If you didn't use any force, then why is Cece crying so miserably? Do you think a child is capable of acting? Heartache beyond measure. What else is there to hope for? I looked into FLhe's eyes and said with a bitter smile, so you don't believe me? FLhe's expression grew colder. How can I make me believe you? Yeah, How could he ever believe me, whether in past lives or this one? I have never been the one he would unconditionally favor and trust. I no longer have the strength to explain myself. Then you can just assume I did it on purpose, but I won't apologize to her. Ruby Liu's daughter cried even louder. Bad woman. You're bad. You hit Cece and still won't apologize. Dad Liu. Hit her. Get revenge for me. Rex Liu's face darkened even more, pointing at me. He said, Fine, fine. Fei Su, you are truly incorrigible. If you won't apologize, then get out. My home doesn't welcome someone like you to stay. Fei Su, remember that the marriage application hasn't been submitted yet. You're not the lady of this house. As the words fell, Ruby Liu's daughter stopped crying. She stuck out her tongue, made a face, and looked at me triumphantly, repeating the words telling me to get out. Ruby Liu held her, looking at me with a mix of sarcasm and disdain. I looked at the stained and tattered mandarin duck quilt cover and nodded. Fine, I'll leave. There are only 2 days left anyway. Leaving early or late makes no difference. However, it seems we cannot part on good terms. I took down the quilt cover and bedsheet I had embroidered myself and cut them into pieces. Ruby Liu and her daughter do not deserve to use them. Then I left this place with my luggage without looking back. I found a guest house near the train station and stayed there. At night, I lay on the bed in the guest house. I thought I wouldn't be able to sleep well. I didn't expect to sleep so soundly without any dreams. Waking up only when the sun was high in the sky. After getting up, I went downstairs to have breakfast. Then I leisurely returned to the barracks and got the train ticket to the Great Northern Wilderness from the political instructor. I carefully placed the train ticket in the inner layer of my clothes. I saw Rex Liu walking towards me with Ruby Liu and her daughter, Wang Cece. Seeing me, Rex Liu was taken aback. Then, with a cold expression, he said, "What are you doing here?" Seeing that I didn't speak, he then said, "If you know you're wrong, quickly apologize to Ruby and Cece. Then go home and cook them a nice meal. After that, this matter will be over. Otherwise, I won't allow you to come home." Wang Cece made a funny face at me. "Stinky aunt, I want you to kneel on the ground and bark like a dog. Then I'll forgive you." I looked into her eyes and said, word by word, "I don't need your forgiveness. And besides, I didn't do anything wrong. Little one, lying can get your tongue cut off and bring down heaven's thunder." Wang Cece screamed in terror. Ruby Liu looked at me with an unpleasant expression. "Comrade Fei Su, what are you doing?" I smiled and looked at her. "Comrade Ruby Liu, you know what I mean. Those who lie deserve to be struck by lightning." "Enough." Rex Liu looked at me with an unreadable expression. "Cece is still a child." I pointed to the injury at the corner of my eye. "Rex Liu, someone did get hurt yesterday. But that person was me. You can favor her daughter and your good classmate, but you shouldn't throw dirt on me." Rex Liu was taken aback. "Fei, I didn't. It doesn't matter anymore." I gave Rex Liu a sarcastic smile. "Whatever happens between you two in the future has nothing to do with me." I turned to leave, but Rex Liu held onto my hand tightly, refusing to let go. "Wait, Fei, there's a misunderstanding. Let's go home and talk." "Okay." I shook off Rex Liu's hand. "No, Fei, brother Rex, Cece is having an asthma attack." Rex Liu wanted to keep arguing, but Ruby Liu called him back again. Wang Cece collapsed on the ground as if she had lost consciousness. Rex Liu hurriedly picked up Wang Cece. He said to me, "Fei, wait for me. I'll come back later to explain to you personally. Let's go home. I'm about to leave and won't be coming back." My voice, answering, drifted away in the wind. Rex Liu still didn't hear it. He was carrying Wang Cece as he ran toward the hospital. Ruby Liu gave me a resentful look. This time, it was my turn to give her a mocking smile. This man has now given it to her, and I will go to the Great Northern Wilderness to experience a broader life. I spent my last night here at the guest house. I know Rex Liu won't be coming. Ruby Liu won't let him come. I left a letter for him. Tell him that the marriage between him and me is off. I also told him about my plan to go to the Great Northern Wilderness. Early the next morning, I left the letter at the front desk of the guest house. Then I boarded the train to the Great Northern Wilderness. Actually, I could also write a complaint letter to Ruby Liu and Rex Liu's workplace, but I did nothing. I remember Grandma Liu's kindness and don't want to ruin Rex Liu, hesitant to act for fear of harming the innocent. I couldn't bring myself to ruin Ruby Liu either. Let it be, in this lifetime. My life and FLhe will no longer have any intersection. We shall never meet again, in life or death. FLhe only returned home from the hospital on the third day, during these 3 days. The doctor said Wang Cici didn't have any serious illness, but the child kept complaining of a stomachache, so we let the child stay in the hospital for a few more days for observation. Pushing open the door, the house felt cold and empty. FLhe hasn't returned yet. FLhe covered her mouth and said, "Oh dear. FLhe hasn't come back at all. She must still be angry with me and Cici. Maybe we should move away. You go and bring her back. It's so unsafe for a female comrade to live outside alone." FLhe shook his head. "No need, you all stay here. Your house hasn't been repaired yet. How will you and your mother live if you move back?" FLhe still felt deeply apologetic. "How can we not use it? It's all mine and Cici's fault for taking over FLhe's house. Maybe we should go apologize to her and try to win her back." "Should I apologize?" His words that day were so harsh. "It seems like an apology is in order." FLhe's mind was in turmoil, but seeing Cici's aggrieved little face, he felt again that this wasn't right. He insisted firmly, "There's no need, she's the one who did wrong, and she hasn't even apologized." "Why are you apologizing?" FLhe probed cautiously. "What if FLhe never comes back?" FLhe snorted coldly. "How could that be? She'll be back in less than 3 days. She's an orphan, with no relatives or friends here. I'm her only family. Where else could she go besides me? Just stay here and rest assured, she'll definitely be the first to give in. Come back, and apologize to Cici. Dad Lu is awesome. I want to make that mean auntie bark like a dog for me." "Alright, Dad Lu will grant your wish. I really don't know why she gets so angry, since she loves to get angry so much." "Then let her be properly angered. He is the regimental commander, and as his family member, she should have been magnanimous." FLhe is his high school classmate, now a widow with a child. Urgently in need of help. She was so petty, making things difficult for a child. He won't go to comfort her. Let her realize her mistake on her own. Otherwise, she will keep making a scene like this in the future. He was just waiting for her to suffer outside, unable to bear it, and come back to apologize to him on her own. This time, he was determined to teach her a proper lesson. The train rocked and swayed for 3 days before I finally arrived in the Great Northern Wilderness. As soon as I got off the train, I was stunned by the scenery before my eyes. The autumn in the Great Northern Wilderness is like a huge oil painting. Golden, fiery red, and brown colors intertwine, creating a picture of a bountiful harvest. It's so beautiful it's breathtaking. I fell in love with this place almost at first sight. In my previous life, I was confined to that 2-bedroom, 1-living-room apartment of less than 70 square meters. I toiled my whole life for the Lu family. This was the first time I had ever witnessed such a vast world. I cherish this opportunity immensely. Farming is very hard, but I am originally a rural child, and I am not afraid of hardship. I work alongside everyone, cultivating the land with my own hands. In this land, seeds of hope are sown. Every drop of sweat shed tastes sweet. It was 2 months later when I received FLhe's letter for the first time. He told me he was waiting for me to come home. I didn't expect that after waiting for so long, I realized I had actually left. I even ended up in the Great Northern Wilderness. He didn't know that I actually cared so much about FLhe and her daughter. He apologized to me. He said he has already sent FLhe and her daughter away. He said he does not agree to call off the engagement. He also said to wait for me to return. Along with the letter came $120, exactly half of FLhe's monthly salary. I carefully saved the money. There was no reply. Later, such letters came once a month. The above are all small incidents that happened around FLhe. All these words combined amount to more than what he used to say to me each month. Along with the letter came the $120. I didn't spend a single cent and saved it all, but I never received a reply. Life in the Great Northern Wilderness was tough. Yet every day was fulfilling. Under the guidance of technician FLhe, we cultivated wheat, soybeans, corn, and sorghum. Amidst harvest after harvest, I noticed that rice was conspicuously absent here, but I remember in my past life, my favorite crop to eat was northeast rice. I told FLhe about my idea, then he gave me a thumbs up. "Your idea is great. They say rice can only be grown in the south, but I think we can grow it here in the Great Northern Wilderness too." Li found a large plot of land and started an experimental rice field. That day, he brought me over. He also had me join this experimental project. It was on this day that my life was completely changed. Through continuous learning and hard work, I have also become a researcher. I joined Li's team. Contributing to the modernization of agriculture in our country, we developed a rice variety suitable for the climate of northeast China. Modern agricultural equipment was also introduced to the Great Northern Wilderness. In my 5th year in the Great Northern Wilderness, I married Li. On the day of my wedding, FLhe also got married. He had written to me earlier, saying he was being transferred to northeast China. Come find me. But before I could write back to him, tell him I've already found a like-minded lover, tell him not to waste his effort, he sent another telegram, telling me he was sorry and that he couldn't come. I didn't understand, so I asked my former instructor. He sighed and told me that after I left, he found out I had a marriage engagement with FLhe. FLhe had been waiting for me all these years, and Ruby Liu did not give up on her harassment. When she found out that FLhe wanted to transfer to the northeast to find me, she drugged FLhe. That incident caused a huge uproar, and Ruby Liu was fired. FLhe was also demoted. In the end, for the sake of influence, he had no choice but to marry Ruby Liu. Knowing this, I wasn't surprised. In his previous life, how could Ruby Liu, who had entangled him for a lifetime, ever let him go? It's just fortunate that in this life, I won't have any further involvement with them. Away from his quagmire, I will only get better and better from now on. The following year, I gave birth to a daughter. On the day my daughter turned 1 month old, I received another letter from FLhe. He told me he was sorry. He said he had a dream where I married him. But he didn't cherish it properly. He said he regrets it deeply, not knowing why he was so bewitched back then, helping Ruby Liu and her mother without any regard for the consequences. Now, he finally realized that she was not a good person. She used tricks to make him marry her, but she did marry him. Yet she turned into a completely different person. She looks down on his family. She is unwilling to take care of his bedridden mother and also dislikes his father, who doesn't like to bathe or wash his feet. They all live together as a family. Every day is filled with endless arguments. Now, he finally realized how good she was. If he had known it would be like this, he would never have provoked Ruby Liu and her daughter, no matter what. If only he had married me. I smiled and looked at my daughter's sleeping face. I burned all the letters in one go. The money FLhe gave me over the years, I had already sent it all to Grandma Liu. I asked her to pass it on for me. From then on, I cut off all contact with the Liu family, except for Grandma Liu. For the next 30 years, we dedicated ourselves to the modernization of the country's agriculture. Li and I also became well-known technicians. We were even written about in the textbooks for agricultural college students. Later, we went to teach at the university. While giving lectures in various places, I seemed to see FLhe again, but that person was hunched over, looking much older than in the previous life. I wanted to see more clearly. My husband beside me took my hand. Smile, my dear, the reporters are taking pictures. I averted my gaze and soon forgot about it, leaning closely against Li. I beamed a big smile for the camera. Just like my life, it is bright and radiant. FLhe side story. I never thought that after 30 years apart, I would see her again. FLhe, she looks so young, so different from the weary, aged version of her in my dreams. But I am nothing like the me in my dreams. I have grown old, become an ordinary soldier, not like in the dream, rising step by step, unlimited glory. After marrying Ruby Liu, my life seemed to have hit the nightmare button. My mom and Ruby Liu argue constantly. My mother was bedridden and did not receive proper care. She passed away before even reaching the age of 60. It's nothing like the dream where FLhe took good care of her, and she lived to 70, passing away peacefully of old age. I never had any children in my entire life. Ruby Liu can no longer have children. I was demoted because of my conduct issues with Ruby Liu. I can no longer pursue my ambitions for the rest of my life, and Ruby Liu is still not satisfied, constantly scolding me for being incompetent. Can't let her live a good life. After 20 years of marriage, she finally found a wealthy man. She remarried and took her daughter with her. I breathed a sigh of relief. Finally, I can part ways with her. But in less than a year, I heard bad news about her. That wealthy but uncouth man was a fraud. After Ruby Liu was swindled out of everything, she was beaten to death by the man. Her daughter was also sold by that man to an old bachelor in the village. I reported it to the police for them. The man was sentenced to death, but her daughter went insane. I sent her to a mental hospital. It also fulfills her wish of calling me dad for decades. Now, I am old too. I have been demobilized and returned to civilian life. My legs and feet are not as nimble anymore. Want to find another partner, but people look down on me. Became a true loner. I think such a miserable ending is probably because I was the one who broke someone's heart, in a dream, or perhaps, in a past life. He truly is not human, unfortunately. He realized it too late. He no longer has the chance to stand by her side.